Welcome back to the show. We have an amazing episode. I usually talk to students, faculty members. Today, I'm talking to parents. This episode is for the parents out there. I'm going to talk to Brooklyn Stevens' parents, and we're going to talk about things like how they helped her navigate picking a major, financial aid, the decision to live on campus or off campus. This is a really important question that a lot of parents ask, and how to evaluate which colleges to look at, and how they decided on Northern Kentucky University as the college for Brooklyn. So if you're new here, my name is Dr. Abdullah Abrani. I'm an associate professor of economics at Northern Kentucky University, and this is the channel where we discuss economics and professional development. Check out this episode. It's a great one for the parents, for the students. If you're thinking about college, it's a must watch. All right, so I'm really excited to have you all here. I've been looking forward to this conversation. The video with Brooklyn went live. It's gotten a lot of positive reviews, not just from students at NKU, but students that want to learn economics from across the world. And she did a really good job of presenting her growth. But one thing that I found myself asking is, can we get her parents to tell us what their experience was? And I'll tell you why this is important. The biggest issue that we have in recruiting economics students is the parents. Because the parents don't know what jobs can an econ major give them. And every parent wants their child to be successful. So today, I just want to get a glimpse from your experience as parents. What has happened in the past 3 years or before that you're proud of? Does that sound good?
I'm an elementary teacher. I teach third grade at a public school in Ohio, and for 8 and 9-year-olds. Yeah.
Brian Stevens.
And Brian, what do you do?
I'm a director for a large software development company of operations.
Okay, so you do a lot of work with data and...
Yes.
Okay.
I've run a support organization, the infrastructure for a support organization. So it is all about data.
Perfect. And this week, we're celebrating a lot here on campus. A lot of, everybody's graduation's a couple of days from now. We have some students in the background over here that don't know what's going to happen on Friday. But Friday, Brooklyn's getting a really super amazing award. So she is going to be recognized as the most outstanding student in the entire Haile College of Business.
Yay!
I am extremely proud of it. Tell me, how do you feel?
Go ahead.
Just a little overwhelmed. Like it's amazing. Like I can't believe out of all the students, but honestly, I mean, I'm a little prejudiced. Of course, she's my daughter, but she's grown so much and done so much and put herself out there that it's not like surprising to me that she's being recognized. I mean, she's worked really hard, so.
It has.
I think her whole entire focus starts because she's very goal-driven, she's always had the drive to be successful at whatever it is. Even things she doesn't like, she still wants to be good at. And some of that helps get her into the position that she's in, where her whole focus for 3 years has been school.
Yeah.
And that all started a long time ago with, she wants to blame us.
Yeah.
As we were really hard on her and we set these goals for
high
her.
Expectations.
That, we had really high expectations. We did, but really she put them on herself.
Yeah.
And that, she's really driven her own time at college. We didn't have to step in. We didn't push her. It's all happened naturally by her.
And she made us, before we started, promise that we can't make this show about her. So I want to make it about you as parents. Do you remember the visit to campus when she got admitted or was thinking about coming here?
Yeah, we came twice. We
Came
came
twice?
on 2 different things.
And we had gone to other colleges as well.
Yeah. So one, what were your emotions on that day? Like, did you have fears, excitement? What do you recall?
I wasn't fearful.
Not at all.
Even at the other colleges, I wasn't. Well, I won't say that.
Okay.
One of them I didn't really want her to go to just because of the environment, the city around it.
Okay.
But no, I wasn't fearful other than that. NKU was very welcoming, and like we met Olena, her advisor, on one of the very first trips we ever came here, and she was amazing, and remembered us the next time we came. Actually pointed Brooklyn out, like called us by name. So that was really, I mean, 'cause she had to have met so many people, and for her to remember Brooklyn and remember us by name really stood out too. Made us feel really welcome in that, hey, Brooklyn probably made an impression.
Yeah.
And she was really good at kind of steering Brooklyn towards economics a little bit, because at first she just thought she wanted some kind of business degree. And so she kind of helped Brooklyn narrow that down.
Yeah.
And so she was really welcoming. She was really great. So.
I kind of looked at NKU as it's a good transition for a young student or young adult to a college that's bigger than high school, and it could also work the other way around as a child who goes to a large high school coming here as well. It's that intermediate size that really fit for Brooklyn, and we had been to several other colleges. The commute here is easy, even though we really wanted her to live on campus. We wanted her to experience that, use the time being on campus for growth, and also to really get the full experience of college. And NKU felt like that good transition from high school, living at home, only child, to a college atmosphere.
Yeah.
And as parents, number one for us was safety. And
and I think at that time, which I don't know what it is now, NKU was like second in the region or nation of safety, and it's a medium-sized college, so it's not like and she would get to know the people around her, make friends, so that made us feel better because the class sizes at the College of Business seemed smaller.
Yeah.
So you have that little cohort of people that you can
advisors
rely on.
remember you.
Yes.
we got a lot of flack from other parents about letting her live on campus. She could have driven. I mean, we don't live that far. We realize it is mainly a commuter college. But we got flack from other parents saying,
why
you're
are you
letting
spending
them,
that money?
Cost associated.
And I said, let's take a look at the cost from driving back and forth, wear and tear on the car, the time, and then what does she get by living on campus? It's different. You got to think about meals. You got to think about the exposure to other activities. There's a lot more to it than tuition is this, and if you don't live on campus, you don't pay that tuition. You got to put more, pen to the paper to figure out that difference in cost.
We just felt like there was more positives to living here than commuting every day. And if your classes are spread out, then what do you do all day? You don't have anywhere to go back to and relax. And
we're certainly not saying that communing is bad. We're just saying
I
Brooklyn,
commuted.
it made sense. She went here.
I went here to
Really?
NKU and I commuted. And I went to the the College of Education. And I liked it. I loved it. But I, at the time, really wanted to live on campus, but financially, my family couldn't afford it. So, but I commuted, and I got a great education here. But
so the first decision is to attend NKU. The second decision to make is live off campus, or on or off campus.
Sure. Well, there's three choices. There's commuting, off campus, and then on campus.
That's true. And was it on campus that?
The
We've done
first
both.
year.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had her do both.
Yeah, the
So
first year was on.
I told you my pain point with talking to parents about major. How involved were you in the major? What major does she, decide on?
She floundered a lot in the very beginning about what is my major, and she had a lot of pressure from others in the family, my mother specifically, about being a lawyer. And I think really she thought that was really the path for her. And then somewhere along the lines, she touched data. And it really became a passion of hers on the data side. And I think she also realized she didn't want to do all the reading and everything to be a lawyer. And so it just kind of changed her focus. So we weren't really involved. Our direction for her was Pick something that makes you happy.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and we kept telling her, because I think she had, in her mind, like he's saying, his mom put pressure on her. Other people in the family, she's always talked about being a lawyer, even when she was little, and she's a great negotiator. So that was like a path that everyone was like, she's gonna be a lawyer when she grows up, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is why she took the pre-law major.
Yeah.
One of the things about that Olena said, well, if you're really into law, Econ majors do great on the LSTAT.
Yeah, got her with that.
That's how it
And
went.
so that's kind of how it evolved. But then, and she transitioned from elementary to middle school in 5th grade. She went with elementary with me at my school.
Okay.
She went to her home school where we live. It's starting in 6th grade, and hated math.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated it. And so when we talked about, she said, I kind of think I want to pair my major with a business degree. It might be good for, like, if I take pre-law classes, it might be good for me to be on the business side. Originally she wanted to do corporate law.
Yeah.
And, but like Brian said, when she got into a few classes and she just started, looking at the data and making the graphs and analyzing things, she was like, I love it.
Yeah.
And so
What I think really bothered her the most was she had told everybody, I'm going to be a lawyer.
Yeah. It's
And
disappointing others.
Then she was
worried
afraid
about
of disappointing others. Exactly.
And she's always been like that.
Yeah.
Disappointing people.
But that happens a lot with students, and I always tell students that it's almost better off to come in undecided than to commit to something before you actually know what you're going to experience. I came in as a chemical engineer major. I did 3 years of that, and my biggest fear was I knew it wasn't for me, but I didn't want to disappoint the family members, the friends, and a part of it felt like I would be disappointing myself as well, because I was so sure I wanted to be an engineer. What happened, right?
I kept telling her that I still don't know what I want to be.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I tell my students too. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Olena was huge.
She was great.
She was huge.
And continues to be great.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
she's done a lot for Brooklyn and behind the scenes and emails and things like that.
One single math teacher in 7th grade, 8th grade,
Oh, yeah.
really
Mr.
turned
Anderson.
her around.
Yeah.
And that, I think, opened her up and said, you know what, this math stuff is...
Yeah, I can't do math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think before that,
Before
she
that-
thought she couldn't do math.
So teachers matter is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Do you know the name of that teacher?
Mr. Cunningham.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah,
Cunningham.
Mr. Cunningham, and he had the Superman stuff.
Yeah. And Miss Seals, you said?
In high school, yeah.
Okay.
She was
They
great.
were influential to her.
Yeah. So what do you remember about her high school years? Like you said she always put pressure on herself to succeed. But outside of school, what did she do?
She played volleyball. She played varsity from freshman year on. She also did horses. She showed competitively
Okay.
since she was 5 years old. Well, she started when she was 5. She started showing competitively when she was about 9.
Yeah.
And showed all through high school. Did some amazing things. She showed at Quarter Horse Congress, which is a huge, like, all people from all over the world come and show.
Okay.
She showed on a youth team there, plus by herself. She
Volleyball was a
showed-
good experience for her in some ways because
Yeah.
it's team sport.
As an only child.
As an
only child.
Yeah.
She always showed horses, so she was always, it was just her and her horse.
Yeah.
She didn't have to rely on other people.
Yeah.
I noticed middle school, high school, she hated group projects. Still does to this day.
We've had some of those conversations.
Because she's so driven and like she has these tasks and she wants to complete them and she knows what she has to do and she only has to rely on herself, then there's nobody else to not do their part.
Yeah.
Where volleyball, you have to play as a team. You can't, that kind of thing.
She's a good mixture of both of us, but she gets the majority of that from me. She's extremely competitive,
I am.
You are?
but I'm
Yeah.
very driven, goal, task.
Yeah.
Her studies come from her.
Okay.
Her ability to sit down with a book, get through it. I am find a single piece of information, get what I need, move on. That's not, Brooklyn wants to understand the whole picture. So it's a good combination of both.
It is. So you said you're competitive. How does your competitiveness show? Like, What environment do we have to put Donna in to?
I don't know. Do you want to answer that? I don't know.
She's even competitive when it comes to me, or
Oh, yeah.
even Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
You know-
when I'm watching them, like he races
Yeah.
car, and I want him to win. Like I want him to be up there on the top,
Yeah.
4 people or whatever. And
I'm looking at the overall scheme of things,
Yeah.
and she is looking at that moment in time. And it didn't go as planned.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, I learned this, and I can figure out how to do this better next time. And she's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Come on.
Get it together.
Yeah, yeah. When Brooklyn would show horses, we would
Yeah.
obviously stand around the outside, and we're actually giving her instructions. My instructions are totally different than her instructions.
she blocked me out eventually.
But she blocked
anyway.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
She usually blocked us all out except for her trainer, and then there was one other older lady that was a grandmother to somebody else who had been showing for a long time, and she would hear her. And she would hear her trainer, and that was the only people she would really train or hear. Eventually, she learned how to block us out.
So that's brings me to a really good question. I told some of my students that I'm really excited about this interview. What would you ask? And one of the students said, how do you balance between letting your child try new things and wanting to protect them from failing or getting hurt? What's your answer to that?
My answer is you have to try things or you're never going to figure it out and you're never going to learn. We took a step back. Let's just talk about college. Her entering college, we took a step back. She managed all of her applications. She took care of all the paperwork. She got enrolled. And I would encourage parents to sort of push their kids in that direction.
Yeah.
Don't micromanage.
Don't micromanage it. Don't get involved unless you need to get involved.
And that's hard for me.
And that's really hard for her. It's very easy for me because I know I know that Brooklyn, if she gets to a point where she's stuck, she's going to come ask.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have that confidence that she
It's
will
easy
ask.
for me now
Yeah.
in college. I would say middle school, high school, that was hard for me. Well, high school, not so much. I kind of let go.
Don,
but
what's so hard about it?
I guess I'm one of, I don't know. I don't want to see her fall on her face and know that I could have helped her not fall on her face.
Yeah.
But I think you want to help early, and I want to solve at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and so, but
just different.
I've gotten better.
Yes, you
I've
have.
gotten a lot better about letting that go.
Yeah.
Even, her moving to UK.
Yeah.
I've kind of let that go.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
it. And see, I look at that and go, great exposure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Go.
She's
have fun.
94 miles away from
I
you all.
know.
But it's 94 miles more than it is now, right? And
Yeah.
that's a whole other adjustment.
And we have family down there. She has a cousin there. You guys are down there.
Yeah.
We have friends that are down there. I mean, it's not like she's not without a support system down there. And I've gotten better. I've gotten a lot better about letting it go. But I think it is important, like he said, when your child needs to do some, fill out the paperwork, email the professor, you take care of that. You're in the situation, it's your situation. Your parents shouldn't, you need to solve those problems and learn how to solve those problems.
If they don't start solving them at this point, you're going to have, you're just pushing it down the road later.
Well, they're going to have problems
And they're
with
going to
their
have problems later.
employees and-
There are times where Brooke will go, I'm getting ready to email this certain person, and I'm like, wait till Monday.
Yeah.
Just
or
wait till
we'll
Monday.
say, well, maybe you should word it this way.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things now.
I mean, she
that
gets
you
it 99%, right?
Yeah.
It's just that extra little 1%, and she learns from that 1% each time. So, but there are times where we've said, wait till Monday, because that it's Thursday at 7 o'clock. Wait until Monday. Let it be the first thing in that person's week.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I just work my business too. Is being careful when I contact somebody when I'm complaining about something or I need something. Pick your times.
Yeah. Friday evening is a really tough
Right.
time to get anything
Right.
done.
Right.
So as you're looking back at your experience as parents and then her experience as a student, what do you think were some challenges along the way? I mean, we've described her as like this model student, model child, but there has to have been some times where we're like, you know what, things are tough.
I think the pressure she speaks of, like we put pressure on her. We wanted her to be, we had high expectations. I see it as high expectations. I don't see it as you have to be perfect. I think sometimes, and I look back as a parent thinking maybe I should have worded those things differently.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have said something a little different because maybe she thought I meant perfect.
Yeah.
And so then she puts her own pressure. And so one challenge is, and she's been this way, and I think I see other kids this way as a teacher. The beginning of the year, in the fall, even in high school, middle school, college, she gets super stressed. And like overwhelmed with what's going to happen and all the new classes, and I have to do this, and this, and this, and
starts planning way ahead.
Yes, and
which
so
is a good trait.
it is a great trait. However, it
manage
really
it.
stresses her out.
Yeah.
The beginning of every year, we see it every time because when she was in high school, it was it's volleyball season and it's the new school year.
Now I got homework and this.
How am I going to do all that?
Practice.
And she would always have some stress and some meltdowns in there sometimes. So I think that was a challenge, just to try to work through that and how could we help you, and learning when she really needed us to help and just needed us to listen to her vent.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for me.
That is insightful.
It's
because
easier for me.
sometimes she's just wants to vent to us. She doesn't want us to fix it.
Yeah.
But learning that part, okay, is this a time I'm supposed to step in and help you with this, or is this a time you just need to get it out?
But that's the educator in you as well, right? Because I'm an educator, and I have students stop by my office, and sometimes they're venting, but I want to go into problem solving mode. Like, let me help you out, right?
Yeah.
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the problem solver, but I'm already jumping to the solution while I'm listening to her.
Yeah.
And really, if I just let her talk it through,
Yeah.
she gets there on her own.
Yeah. Okay. So just listen longer.
Yeah. Her stack up of vents and items is her big stressor.
Okay.
So it's like you said, the beginning of the season, beginning of the school year, beginning of new classes, finals, all those things stacking up on top of each other is her big stress moment. So I think talking to new students about prioritizing your work, getting them into a routine, which she is really good at, writing them down, managing tasks. I think those are things that new students need help with.
Okay. So as we're creating this video, one of the questions that I had for myself is, who's the audience for this video? Do we want the students to see this, or is it the parents that need to see this?
I think the parents need to see it.
Okay.
Things that you should be doing and not be doing. Don't smother your kid. Let them kind of figure it out on their own. They're gonna fail at some things. Help them.
Yeah.
I've always told Brooklyn, make as many mistakes as you want.
Yeah.
Make the
Mistakes
little
aren't
ones.
failures.
Yeah.
Make the little ones. Don't make the big ones.
Yeah.
If you're on the verge of a big one, let's back up and talk about it. But the little ones are easy to fix. She puts the pressure on herself. She doesn't even want to make the little ones.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with little mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're part of the journey.
Sure.
They're experiences that you talk about later, right?
I always teach my students about growth mindset, and I think sometimes that's hard as a parent to think about.
Yeah.
But letting your kids fail and letting them, okay, it's not I can't, it's I can't yet, or it's not I don't know how to do that, it's I don't know how to do it yet. You can still work towards that. Everybody's learning and everyone's failing, and I teach that in my third graders.
Yeah.
But then sometimes I would forget that with my daughter. So I think sometimes it's you have to remember, like he said, the little failures are okay. It's growth.
It's putting things in perspective of risk versus reward.
Yeah.
So we're obviously going to see each other a couple of times this week for the celebrations, but after that, Brooklyn's off to UK for her MBA. What advice do you have for her going to UK?
Be safe.
Be safe?
Yeah, that's her biggest concern is just same as when we started here.
Yeah.
Just you walking to and from and going in and out of the building.
She thinks physical safety.
Physical safety.
I've turned it into mental stability, being able to handle what's going on, Her mental health.
Yeah, her mental health, I worry about. Not that she's not in good mental health.
Yeah.
It's just being alone, not having a roommate, because she's had a roommate.
Yeah.
She's had someone there with her talking through things. She wants us to let her have a cat because she thinks she needs a cat as a roommate now. But
Grad students should not have pets. Just FYI. That's my 2
Thank you.
cents.
Yeah, and but I worry about that. Just like, I don't want her to be lonely. I don't want her to be down there and feel isolated.
We have no concerns whatsoever
Academically.
academically.
She's going to be amazing. She always is.
There's going to be moments it sucks.
Oh, yeah.
She's not going to like it.
She's
It's going
gonna
to be
make-
hard, but she'll still do well. And whether she believes it or not, a B is fine.
Yeah.
A C is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
It's
put
gonna
the pressure
happen.
on herself to get a 4.0.
Yeah, we didn't
Here,
do that,
we didn't do that.
She thinks
were
we
like,
did.
It's okay.
Yeah.
but we really didn't.
So her story is y'all put the pressure. Okay.
We probably did as a youngster, I'm sure, because school was important to me, and you were going to work hard, and you had high expectations, and this is how it was going to be.
And that's how it
But-
started at 5 years old.
I mean,
Yeah.
Coming from her,
Yeah.
who managed the homework, the schoolwork,
Yeah.
those kinds of things.
The educator.
conference.
Yeah.
Yes, conferences. I only went to
One
conferences
conference.
when I had to solve something.
Yeah.
Because it was hard. Okay.
She was in her school.
She was at
Yeah.
my school. It's hard for me to go to a conference if I had an issue with a teacher, and I
Yeah.
only had one issue with one teacher, 5th grade, and he had to go.
So I solved it.
And I was like, "You're gonna have to handle this," because
I
my
went to
coworker.
more than one.
Yeah.
Well,
But that's-
only
that
one
was a
you
solve.
had
There
to,
was a
like-
problem.
There was a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think she'll do well.
I'm not concerned about
I'm
it
not concerned
academically.
academically. She's going to make great connections, just like she's done here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so thankful to NKU and the economic group and people pushing her and giving her those, opportunities and like, hey, be a CE and
Yeah.
a fellow, like that kind of thing. Like, try this.
Even Cornelia's going there
Yeah.
as well. I think
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
thing. 'Cause
There's
she'll have
companionship. There's
she'll have
somebody
a
there.
friend there that she knows already. But that kind of, I know she's going to continue that at NKU now that she's more comfortable putting herself out there. She's made some great connections on LinkedIn and even just like the job fair, there was people that remembered her or things like that. So I don't worry about that part. But like I said, I don't want her to be lonely. I don't want her to have some, her mental health, that kind of thing, but
From a interactive standpoint and really a business standpoint, she is much further along than I was at her age, which is every parent's goal.
Yeah.
You want them to be better than you are. She's definitely further along than I was at her age. And I was very backward, very shy, the same things like she was, very sensitive.
Yeah.
And it took me a while, to kind of grow business-wise, and she's already on that path.
yeah,
Well, you all must be really proud.
we're very proud.
Yeah. She's done a lot of great things, but it's a testament to your effort. I know parents don't hear it enough. But
It starts at home.
It does.
It
And,
does.
and we've said it as her being a teacher, the kids that she's teaching, it really starts at home. The teachers and staff add on top of that.
True.
Yeah, because like I know I only teach 3rd grade, but there's several
I
times.
applaud you for that.
Thank you.
I always tell people I
You should
can't
applaud
teach.
me for that.
Yes, I can't teach anything below 12th grade.
Yeah,
So-
no, they're great. I like them. I mean, I love the age group.
Yeah.
I love my kids, and I have them probably more during the day than their parents do because when they're home, they're asleep a part of the time. However, I can say the same things over and over and over, but honestly, the parents are really the biggest influence on a child, and so. I mean, I can try to be a positive influence, but I do think I agree with Brian. I mean, I think a lot of it starts at home, and you got to push them and lead them in those right directions.
And as a parent, you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We have made mistakes. We can look back and say, we shouldn't have said this, or we shouldn't have done it this way, or we should have done it a different way.
Yeah.
It's easy to look back,
Well, there's no such thing as perfect, right?
but you can't see where you're going looking backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's also what we tell her all the time is just keep looking forward.
So we had to turn the cameras back on because Dawn's got some feelings about financial aid.
But there's two parts to
No,
this.
All right,
there's two parts to it. So when, say, we started talking about finances off camera, she worked so hard to be second in her class at graduation. I'm gonna get emotional. I mean,
By like
By like-
0.0043
yes.
or something.
Yeah.
two
second.
girls, salutatorian, valedictorian, was two girls, and there was probably 10 of them that were within hundredths of each other. Like they worked their butts off, right?
She had a great senior class.
She had a super competitive senior class. She worked and worked and worked. She, because she thought, oh, it's going to look good on a college resume. It's going to help me with merit scholarships.
Yeah.
Then she did all this ACT prep. She took the
sent her to
ACT.
tutoring.
She went to tutoring. I mean, during the summer to try to get a better score. I mean, worked amazingly hard. She got a really, really good ACT score. Came to NKU. They gave her the Edge Award, which anybody with a, 2.5 or higher GPA can get.
Okay.
That's all they gave her.
Yeah.
And so she was like, well, what did I work so hard for?
The hard
I mean,
work didn't appear to pay off
my
at
hard
that
work
moment.
didn't pay off. Like I didn't get anything. I got the same that somebody else got.
Yeah.
And I mean, what are we supposed to say to that? You know, so
That was a tough conversation.
It was a
as
tough
parent.
conversation. It was really hard for us to get her past it, and
Yeah.
me, obviously, and me too. But because I did see her point, like
Yeah.
she worked her butt off, and
Where I take the path of, it is what it is.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about it.
it's
Cut and
still
dry.
we
Cut and
can't.
dry.
Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
we can do about it.
Yeah,
We
I'm black
knew
and white.
that, but
Yeah.
it was still a little burr, you know.
Yeah.
But then fast forward, because the good thing about NKU is they offer scholarships for juniors, and each year you can apply for new scholarships.
Yeah.
And so her second and third year, she got a full ride,
Yeah.
and that was all her. And
Yeah.
so we were finally able to say, see,
See.
you made these connections.
Yeah.
Yes, you worked hard in high school, but you also worked hard your freshman year. You made all these connections. You got to know all these people,
Yeah.
and look what it got you. So we were then finally able to make that connection. And it was amazing. Like we paid for her the last 2 years. We've paid for her to live off campus. She had a not so good experience on campus her freshman year. The dorm she was in got torn down and
I heard
condemned.
about that dorm.
So then she
yeah.
had to move from halfway through the year. Then her roommate left. So then she was by herself. And then when they moved her, she went from having her own bathroom to sharing a whole floor. So that was
With
kind
no
of
kitchen.
no
Okay.
kitchen or anything like that. She was kind of used to that. And so it was a little bit of a bad experience. And so she kind of talked us into an apartment, which and so we did pay for her apartment, her living expenses. We didn't really want her to have to work because we wanted her to keep working hard at school and apply herself here and get into some groups and get to know people. Her freshman year, she really didn't do a whole lot
Yeah.
outside
I think she would
of
say
classes.
That herself too, yeah.
And I was worried about that. Like I wanted her to get more involved, and like I kept trying to push her that way, and she was kind of resistant. And so I was glad she finally started getting involved more at the College of Business. And
So it's
stuff.
really investing in herself
Yeah.
in the first year, paid off in the second and the third year.
Yes.
That's a really valuable conversation for parents that have children that they're sending to college. It's not, a lot of people look at the financial aid for the first year, and that's how they make the decision. It's the financial aid all over 4 years that you need
Yes.
to take into consideration.
Correct.
Yes.
And what NKU does really well is they might not give the best incoming scholarship,
Correct.
but if you put in the effort and you develop your skills on campus, then there's a lot of financial aid internally.
Correct. And which it was amazing. I mean, Brooklyn got amazing scholarships her last 2 years. And I will say, like, the one good thing too, freshman year, she took a lot of college classes in high school, and NKU was great about accepting all of those.
Yeah.
So she came in as a sophomore status because they accepted all of her classes she had taken in high school.
So she's done her undergrad work in 3 years.
Yeah, so her undergrad in 3 went. And a lot of other colleges, I know some of her classmates that they didn't take all of their classes. So that worked out really well, was something that was nice about NKU as well.
And some of the discussions around, why are we okay with another year of school when she could go get a job comes down to she did a 4-year degree in 3 years.
Yeah.
So she's really,
Now she's going to get a master's
in
in
4
4
years.
years.
Yeah.
and you know, so we could look at the cost and go, she saved us a year of college
Yeah.
in cost.
Yeah.
So the overall cost,
She saved us more than that because she worked hard.
because she worked hard the next 2 years. So, you know, we covered living expenses, and we've tried to make sure that, I guess that's another message. Try to make sure that your kids have money in their pocket.
Yeah.
Yes.
I went to school, and I went to Moorhead, and my parents didn't give me spending money, and I hated it.
Yeah.
It made me hate the college experience. And I'm not saying funnel money into your kid's wallet, but make sure there's sufficient money to do a few extra things, go get meals, hang out with friends. You know, I think that's the biggest message, and the thing that I hated about college was just being broke.
Yeah.
And we've tried to make sure that she had money.
And she's done great. Like now that she's got a paid internship here at NKU, she doesn't really ask for money. I mean, she does her living off of that.
Yeah.
And there'll be things that come up that I'll be like, I'm gonna put a little money on her account because I see it's kind of low. That kind of thing.
But she also worked at the bank.
She did work for a while at the bank, at a local bank. And,
So I'm by no means saying just throw money at your kids while they're in college. No. That's not it at all.
Yeah. Because I could see some parents saying, like, we're already cash strapped. How do we make that money available?
Yeah.
But if you make the kid happier where they are, they will do better.
Yeah.
And they're gonna. I agree with that because I feel like if they're happier, they're gonna seek other things. And like Brooklyn getting more involved in her business college helped her get the internship, which then helped her get a paid position. And
so it's investing.
It's I'm
and
not.
had she worked off campus, then she wouldn't have that time to devote.
And she did work off campus.
Or lived at home.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I just
I think living at home, she would have made just as good of grades or close to it.
I don't think she would have been as involved.
But she wouldn't have been as involved.
Yeah. I gave my last lecture today for the semester, and the one takeaway was get involved, be part of the community.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
And I told the students as well that sometimes we forgo long-term gains for short-term gains. So I have students that are working 40 hours a week so they could minimize their, have cash today, but they're sacrificing future income.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. And that's a delicate balance. Like, how much debt do I get into? How much money how broke should I be in college? Right. That's a personal conversation, but what I'm hearing is, you really need to be invested in the local community that you're part of.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like Brian said, I don't think you should just feed
It's
your
not about
kids
just throwing money.
Yeah.
That's not what I mean, but
helping out with groceries. And
I do think there is a stress level when it comes to, I have to go get food, if you live on campus and you have like a, pay for like a meal plan or whatever, but even commuters, like, they're paying for gas, I don't know. You don't want them to be sitting here hungry or sitting here like stressed out about, I can't go out to lunch with this group of friends because I don't have money to pay for gas. It's just, you want them to have an experience where they're responsible, but yet they're not stressed about things that maybe you can help with a little bit, I guess is what.
Now it's a conversation we have on campus, like, what resources do we need to make available to students? And we have things like Fuel NKU.
Yeah, which is amazing. She used that her freshman year. They used it a lot.
Yeah. It's a resource.
So,
You don't want people to be worried about their necessities when they're in the classroom. Like, you need to have a good meal to be able to think and do your homework. And
the end result is when you're happy, you do better.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
That's it in a short sentence.
And that goes back to even like your discussion about what major to pick. Pick the one that's going to make you happy, and so you could do better.
Yeah, we always, you don't have to know what you're going to do with your life at 17, 18 years old.
Yeah. We still don't.
Yeah. I just turned 41 this year. Still trying to figure it out. Well, once again, is there anything else you want to get off your chest?
No.
All right.
No.
Well,
I just thought the financial part, I'm like, we should probably talk about that. We really didn't talk about that.
That is, other than major, finances are the two big topics, and a lot of parents think about scholarship money that comes in the first year and not the 4-year or 3-year package.
I didn't know that NKU, did it that way.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a pleasant surprise to find that out.
The other message is there are a lot of scholarships that you can chase, and
A lot.
Brooklyn chased
Yeah.
a lot of them. There was a 4-H scholarship that she got. I mean, there's just other money out there. You just
Yeah.
got to go look for it. She
Grants.
wrote a lot of essays. She wrote a lot of reports, and
Yep. And to do that, to figure out what scholarships are out there, get involved, because faculty know them, administrators
Yep.
know them, and
Yep.
they will direct you to where they are.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Well, I definitely appreciate you all doing this and shedding some light on the parent point of view. Congratulations
Thank you.
for an amazing success, but a week of a lot of celebrations.
Yeah,
but also thanks to you
yeah.
because
Thank you.
of all the mentorship
Yep.
that you've given her, and she's definitely grown under, working with you and being around you.
Yeah.
She's definitely somebody kind of grabbed her by the ear and pulled her a little bit, and it was you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just takes that one person.
Well, I appreciate that. I promised everybody that I would not cry this week. On that, we will end it there. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you.